Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Koco crew here holding it down live. Yours truly, the man experiencing some technical difficulties. Boom Boom here shaking the room, live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, join me there way across the pond out in the outskirts of Tokyo, Japan. The newly authored, the man about to release his newly authored book, Dave Koco.
Hey, what's
What is
up,
up, my friend?
brother? Nothing much. Super excited. Pre-ordered Lucky the Orphan today on Amazon. We got to get that word out about that. So super excited. Ah, we tried to do this
Yeah,
yesterday.
a lot of big news about Lucky the Orphan. I read the press release on it, man. It was beautiful.
Nice. Give yourself a Barry Horowitz. uh, but we tried to do this yesterday, but we had a lot of technical difficulties. Boom Boom was sounding like a robot, and with the internet and what we have to deal with, this is the best we can do. So I hope it's good enough for you, my friends. I hope it's good enough for you. The internet has not exactly been the steadiest thing now that everyone is stuck at home doing it. But Booms will
Yeah.
try his best. Booms, try your best. Try your best.
All right, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try this time.
All right, try this time. All right, but before we go, we got to keep tradition: win, loss, or tie. I I give it a win, but it's the only wrestling that I'm watching, and I'm wondering if I'm becoming what I hate. And what I mean by that is like I think WWE fans only like WWE because it's the only product they watch. They don't know any better, you know?
Hmm.
And then they get loyal. I haven't been watching New Japan. I haven't watched WWE. I only watch this show and I look forward to it. But who knows? Maybe one show a week at 2 hours is a better way to take in wrestling. I'm
It,
giving it
it
a
could be.
win, but I'm starting to question my grading system. You know, I'm just grading it as I don't watch anything else. This for two
Hmm.
hours, I'm entertained. I'm giving it a win, but I'm starting to question of if you only watch one product for a long period of time, do you become lenient on it? You know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm giving it a win. Booms, you might be watching more products than me. I mean, I do watch New Japan, but that's on hold for maybe ever.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, it's just I do like to watch more product, but I mean, right now everybody's in the same boat. Nobody can really run shows, or at least not run them to full capacity because of, well, current events. But as far as I'm going to give it a win, I'm going to give it it's a win. I thought it was just a solid show. I mean, not spectacular, not sucky, but just boom, solid, solid effort. Something I really enjoyed. And to kind of answer your question, no, I don't think we're getting loyal. I mean, this is if we want to flash back, to when I jumped on board Coco Sports way back in the day. Um, Back in the day, we used to only really pretty much would only review Raw. Now we might get a SmackDown in there from time to time. TNA at the time was just, oh my God, it was just pretty much unwatchable. It was a laughing stock of the wrestling world. Ring of Honor was hard to find because they didn't have the Sinclair deal yet, at least not at that time. If you wanted to watch them, you had to watch them either, let's see, online, you had to buy the DVDs, or you had to watch them on HD.net. It was an obscure channel. I don't even know if that channel is even still up and running. Uh, so there's so it was difficult to watch them. Now, watching stuff out of Mexico and Japan was you could do it if you knew where to look, and it was rather difficult because I couldn't. YouTube was still up and coming. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't quite like it is right now. And all, but you could find it on Daily Motion, and even then, you didn't know what kind of stuff you were going to get. So, just only watching one product now is not unheard of for us, at least.
Yeah, and yeah, so and that's true. We're only reviewing Raws a week because we started off just reviewing Raws, and then from there it expanded, and then there it collapsed, and now we're rebuilding it. And yeah, you're right. When I watched Raw every week, I fucking hated it. So
Yeah,
maybe it
I
is a
remember.
good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I remember those days where we were just going like, I mean, it was almost like it was no question that Raw was going to suck. It was the whole
I mean,
thing that
so
we were
much has
doing at the
changed
time.
since then. Oh God, I
Yeah,
wish I
I
was dead.
know. But back then the question wasn't if Raw was going to suck. The question was how bad were we going to rip it? What was going to drive us crazy?
Yeah,
And eventually, and I remember TNA at one point got so bad that we just put a ban on it. We said, fuck this, we're not watching this. And then we started questioning ourselves, well, if we're going to do that to TNA and all Raw's doing arguably either the same thing, in some cases even worse, why are we going to keep watching that?
yeah.
And Colin said, you know what, the hell with this. It got really difficult because there was a point where, let's see, I was graduating from college. I was about to wrap up and get my bachelor's degree,
You were so
and
young
you
back
were
then.
all I know. And you, on the other hand, were doing something, God, probably a little bit more stressful. You were moving your whole family at the time from Tampa, Florida to Tokyo. And so we were just like, we've got a lot of stuff going on in our life. Why are we going to waste our time? It's not worth it. I mean, just what we're getting out of it, and we kind of took a hiatus. We took a hiatus, good God, for the longest time, and then we started sporadically doing shows again
Yeah.
after that.
But I think now that you word it like that, I think AEW, because like right now I just feel like every week's a win. I look forward to watching it. Like it is the TV show, the sporting event I look forward to every week. Now, granted,
Hmm.
98% of them are eliminated, but I don't. When maybe ECW, Lucha Underground, New Japan, and New Japan's weird because you can't consider it a television show.
Hmm.
It's more of a sporting event. So I don't know. Besides Lucha Underground, I don't think because I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's just me. I don't consider New Japan a television show. I consider it a sports
No,
event.
well, because it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
So
they run. I mean what they do is, God, I think we've gotten way off track here, but we'll get back on in just a second. New Japan, what they do is they have like a big event that they build up to, kind of like a pay-per-view for lack of a better term. I mean, come on, we're 80s and 90s kids over here, so this is the terminology we're going to use. And what they do is they have, this would be like, okay, WWE is going to have SummerSlam, but instead of Raws, they have like house shows that they do like on the loops building up to it. That's what New Japan does. They have basically a series of house shows called the Road to in whatever event they're going to have, and they do like these multi-man matches, kind of highlighting, like there's going to be like a big card for the big event, and what they do is they hold like a series of matches involving two or four of the people involved in said matchup, and they kind of build up storylines from that, and then everything comes to a head at the big event. So that's what New Japan does. So it would be like the equivalent of Raw, broadcasting all their house shows, and then it culminates with the pay-per-view.
yeah.
That is about the best way I could describe it.
Yeah, so it's more of a sporting event. So this is a television. AEW is doing something that we've wanted for a long time. They're putting on a
Hmm.
2-hour show that entertains us and doesn't embarrass us. And maybe we're a little quick to give
Hmm.
the wins, but I judge a pro wrestling television show on, do I look forward to it? Did I enjoy it? You know what I mean? That's it. I mean, it's
Hmm.
simple. It's not 5 stars. It's not this. And I just let it know in the comments, win, loss, or tie. And when me and Boom Boom, sometimes we got to look ourselves in the mirror and be like, are we becoming a little too lenient with the wins? But overall, I
Well,
enjoyed it.
yeah, right now I'm being lenient with everybody, especially if you're still running shows, because I mean, it's not fair to kind of judge everybody. It's like, well, they didn't do this. Well, dude, they can barely run shows. They have to be careful about what they do. They can't have a live audience. I mean, they're handcuffed. So yeah, I'm cutting a lot of people a lot of slack during this time. And you know what? AEW finally got their groove back. They finally, at least in the eyes of the audience, they beat NXT for the first time in about 3 weeks. The last two shows they had fallen behind NXT as far as the ratings. Now, this past Wednesday, they pulled in about 731,000 viewers. So they've made a comeback there. NXT, they fell back to about 665,000 viewers. That was down from the previous week. Um, NXT had a slight uptick in the key ratings demographic, drawing a .18 rating up from a .17. Dynamite ranked number 24 in the cable top 150. NXT made it to number 50. So this is, I mean, it's not ratings pre pandemic, but it's respectable. And I think AEW had a decent show this week, and I think the fans responded. You know what I kind of give credit to? Well, the reason why this made a bigger comeback is two reasons. And you can call me biased on this one, but I think one, I'm going to give it to Orange Cassidy because he was making pretty much his in-ring singles. No, it wasn't his in-ring singles, but he had made I think it might have been his Dynamite debut, but it was it was a solo match from him, and then of course you got Darby Allin, who is over like Rover, my friend. But
Yeah.
that's the two things I credit, and I'll explain why coming up just a little bit later. Koco?
Yep. Yeah. So yeah. Overall, I give it a huge win. I enjoyed it, and let's just go down and break it down. Let's break it down.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
First thing we got, and this is something I really enjoyed, and this is something I wish AEW would do a lot more, especially under the circumstances. They did this really nice video package at the opening with Cody Rhodes sitting down in front of a computer, like a big computer console, looking at the participants in the TNT title tournament.
Yeah.
Started kind of analyzing everybody and talking about himself, where, oh, did it, and I love that line, did I smash the throne because I was too afraid to sit in it? I love that line.
Yeah, it was a great opening phase. The thing about AEW is the Dynamite with, after the virus, is that they're doing such great stuff on their opening segments. Their opening segments, granted, most of them are Jake the Snake, but they're usually home runs. The Batcave-looking thing was like, damn, is that like his legit house? What the hell's going on over there? Yeah, the promos were pretty good. I also like the thing about the moving the goalpost. Every time we reach something, they move the goalpost. And I think no matter what,
Yeah,
people are going to do that. I
something
honestly think when AEW beats out Raw, they're still going to move the goalpost. You know what I mean? It's just, it's like Yankee fans. Are Yankee fans not going to bring up the World Series rings back in 1902? No, of course they are. The WWE is like the Yankees in a downward spiral. So I literally like the goalpost thing. And the only thing I didn't like, which I don't think was needed, was the Dustin Rhodes stuff. He was like, if I don't beat him, like, if you're going to do that, at least have, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just seemed like, what? I'm going to put my career on the line. Why? If I can't, it's just, I don't know. That's the only part I didn't like.
Okay.
All
right. We get Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho on commentary. Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin did a little video package. By the way, I just want to know this. Who the hell volunteered to put on that paper Sammy Guevara mask and get drugged by Darby Allin on his four-wheeler? And that's another thing.
Yeah,
is that Darby Allin's property? Because he's always out there dragging some shit around in a fucking car, or he's setting fire to some shit out there. Like he set fire to a kitchen table with, cut out faces of all the members of the inner circle on it. So I kind of want to know if this is, no, I'm genuinely just curious. Is that his property, or is it somebody else's property? And by the way, you volunteered to get drugged through a field on a four-wheeler. Yeah, I'm kind of redneck, but shit, even I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I imagine, if not, it's someone's. But I imagine they're their houses. I mean, did you see the Elite 200th episode? Jesus Christ, their house was huge. I was like, man, I feel like a fool.
I think it was actually, I think it was both their properties, because I think they're next door neighbors.
Either way, what a fucking life they're living.
Good. Wow.
They're living a good life. Yeah, I like it. I thought you know what? Before I forget, we'll break it down in a second. Chris Jericho, I don't know if you know this. I fucking love Chris Jericho. He is so fucking good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
If you are an active pro wrestler and you want to see how to put yourself over and someone else over, the way he talked about Darby Allin, he's just so good at what he does. The thing is, if he just gets a tad bit smoother, he's going to be the best goddamn color man in the goddamn business by a lot. He just gets stuff that other people don't get. And can I just give one example?
Oh, please.
When you're a wrestler, you have to put yourself over. But on commentary, you have to put over the other person. So it's a very difficult spot, and a lot of people suck at it. That's why when someone like Taz, the ultimate suplex machine, he has to put that life behind him. Jerry the King Lawler has to put that life behind him, because you can't be Jerry the King Lawler or Taz the Badass and go put people over. So active wrestlers on commentary for a whole show, not just to put a storyline over, is hard. But just with him and Darby Allin, there's a segment that I wish I could clip and give to every pro wrestler that ever steps in a booth. There's a moment where, I'm paraphrasing here, he goes, because he has to put himself over, he's like, oh yeah, Darby Allin's completely, he puts Darby Allin over by saying how great he is. Then he puts himself over by saying, but I beat him in week 3 or whatever. Then, this is the fucking cream of the crop. He puts himself over, and then he puts Darby Allin back over. And he does a little bit of a Rocky thing. He's like, but I'll never rematch him. You know what I mean? He's like, he'll never get his rematch. Now, it's such a heel thing, but on top of that, it's a heel thing that makes Darby Allin look tough.
Mm-hmm.
If he was, because a lot of people that are not as talented as Chris Jericho would have went, oh, fucking Darby Allin's awesome, but I fucking beat him. I'll fucking beat him again. But that's not putting Darby Allin over again.
Mm-hmm.
That little comment of, he'll never get a rematch. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed it. But the first match is for the TNT Championship Tournament. They had 2 matches.
This was the quarterfinal match.
All right, go ahead, Booms. You take over, sir.
Yeah, quarterfinal match. Now, they kind of called back. Now, this is something, I like, but I didn't like. I think they called a little bit too far back to their last match, because it started just like their match at the pay-per-view. Sammy Guevara jumped Darby Allin before the bell. As soon as Darby was coming in, Guevara just dove over the top and just started waylaying on Allin. He took a small ladder and he bridged it between the ring apron and the barricade and did a splash. Now, I don't know if that ladder was supposed to split, but it didn't. And I don't know who got the worst end of that, because, it was Darby got sandwiched in between the ladder and Guevara he might as well just jumped on a rock, chest first. And I was like, ooh, I think they may have actually really gotten hurt on that one. If not, they sold the hell out of it. But they got banged up. He started chopping them. They finally got him to the inside and got the match started. Sammy tries to go in and get the quick win. Then something cool happens here. This is little bitty things where they try to mix up things. Allin had Guevara tied up upside down in the corner, and he took his boot off, and then just started going after his ankle with ankle locks, enziguris, springboard cutter. But he would always go right back to that. Go back to a heel hook or an ankle lock. Just constantly go back. There, Darby got busted open. He was bleeding from the nose. They kept slugging it out. Eventually, let's see. Sammy hit this beautiful 630 or maybe a 740 splash. That was good for a 2 count. Sammy came back, knee strike. Darby then he hit, not the coffin drop. He was gonna go back into a coffin drop, but Guevara caught him, and then he reversed out of that, hit him with that stunner thing that he does, and then did the leg in a figure 4 position. And it's a move he calls the Last Supper. Threw the other leg over. 1, 2, 3. Darby Allin wins, and boom! Just that was a hell of a match. Good sprint. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, I enjoyed the match. I love the fact that it's for the TNT Championship. I can't put that over enough. I love this finisher. The only thing is, I love Sammy and I love Darby Allin, but I don't want Sammy to be AEW's Dolph Ziggler. You know what I mean? I don't want him to be this
Right
great
now.
guy that just always keeps losing. I want to see him go on some winning streaks and all that, but I think if I had these two guys are two great blue chippers that could
Mhm.
be a great feud that lasts forever. You know what I mean? So I really like Darby Allin. I like Sammy. And I just thought Sammy should win, but then there was a part of me it's like, man, I hope Sammy isn't wasted, you know? And this is the first time I'm just a little worried about that. But overall, I'm really excited. Plus, I think Cody versus Sammy would have been a better matchup. But these are just small nitpicks. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and I'm super excited to see what happens in the next round.
Yeah, now as far as like Sammy Guevara's role right now, I think right now he's playing like the D'Lo Brown role in the original Gangstas back in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, or Buddy Jack Roberts with the Fabulous Freebirds. Because usually you have like the guy who talks all the smack that the fans want to see get their face kicked in, or in this case like Jericho, or even to some extent Jack Hager, like the big monster you just love to see getting taken down, just bloodied and beat up. But you got a little mouthpiece right there who gets, they get their, the good guys get their hands on the little guy, but because he's standing in the way, he's blocking for him, but he doesn't get his hands on the other guys that you really want to see him beat up. I think that's the role Guevara's playing right now, which is, I think it's okay for this stage of his career, and I think they do just enough to kind of get his heat back. Because I mean, remember after he lost to, I think Allen one time, I mean, he jammed his throat into the skateboard. I mean, so yeah, he does little things to kind of get his heat back. So I really don't have a problem with it right now. And plus, remember, he teamed up with Jericho, so he's still getting the rub there. So I think Guevara's going to be okay. I understand what you're saying, but I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. But it's like one of those kind of like it's a red flag. It's like a warning. Like this could go bad. Um, Next is the Matt Hardy promo. I
Hmm.
fucking boom boom. You ever be like, this ain't for me, but you're enjoying it
Yeah.
completely?
Hmm.
That's this. I don't enjoy this style of sports entertainment, but it's being done so well. And if it wasn't for Chris Jericho as an opponent, I think this would be wasted. But
Hmm.
man, this is good stuff. Booms to you.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, it's just challenging Hardy, challenging Jericho to come out to the Hardy compound. Uh, I love that he calls him the whole of the ass.
Yeah, I
Calls
love
out
that.
Guevara as the false Spanish god and also the fraud Latino. Whew.
Yeah.
And then he switches, back to the original Matt character. It's like, oh yeah, I've known, Jericho for many, many years. We've been friends, we've been enemies, and there was a little kind of mixed signals, but overall I enjoyed it.
I don't know. I kind of like. I don't know. It's kind of like with any sports entertainment. You got to
Hmm.
go all in on the stupid or have no stupid at all. And I think the fact that he went back to regular Matt Hardy was, I don't know, I enjoyed it. So that's my level of stupidity. It's like you got to go in all in on the stupid or not. Halfway stupid is the worst.
Hmm.
All right, next match, sir.
Next match after that, we had a squash match here. We had Kenny Omega versus Alan Angels. Um, this went a lot longer than what I thought it would. I thought this thing would be like 3 minutes. This thing went just over six. I mean, it was good for what it was. And Kenny gave him a little bit. I mean, he sold for him, and no really complaints there. He actually won with the Dr. Wily bomb, followed up by the V trigger, which that's a little bitty thing, but I like it because he didn't have to rely on the one-winged angel. And the reason why I say this is good is because he ended it with a V trigger, and that's one thing that AEW is pretty good about doing. They've had some guys finish matches without using their finisher, and I like that because it lets the fans know that, you know what, you don't have to necessarily hit the finisher, because usually it's like, okay, oh my God, he hit a big move, he's going for the cover, one, two, no, he kicked out. You don't want the fans going, well, no shit, it wasn't his finisher. But when you have Guevara landing into like a rear naked choke into John Moxley, oh crap, he taps out. That's not his finisher. That the match can end anywhere. When you have Cody Rhodes lock on the figure four onto Shawn Spears, and Shawn Spears is in pain. He can't get his shoulders up because he's so much in pain, and the referee counts three. Oh, well, that's not his finisher. I guess the match can end anywhere. And in this right here, yeah, Kenny Omega loves to spam V triggers. When you got to think realistically, if I kept spamming somebody with knee strikes right to the face, eventually they're just going to give up mentally. They're just going to give up mentally and physically. And so he beat a guy, granted it was a jobber, but he beat him without using the one-winged angel. So you're sending the message, hey, this match can end at any moment. Finishers be damned.
Yeah. There's a lot that I loved about this match. I've made fun of what Booms calls a squash match. This one was amazing. Boom Boom. I love the fact that what you mentioned. It's just you don't have to hit your finisher every time. It makes it exciting, it makes it unpredictable, and it makes it real. All three of those things are a great thing. Second off, it's like Fire Pro. Right now I'm playing Fire Pro, and fucking Okada's Rainmaker is a fucking bag of shit. Like he has so many better moves than the Rainmaker, so I kind of like that. It just seems more realistic, and I don't know. I just think in a real fight, or in a wrestling match, or like playing a video game, you would spam the fucking good move. I don't know, I'm that way. E-Honda, I'm slapping the shit out of you. I'll fucking spam the living shit out of Rainmakers all day in Fire Pro. SmackDown, the SmackDown vs. Raw, or SmackDown vs. the World, or SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Bill Goldberg with those fucking knees while you were downed. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, you do the same fucking move. But bitch, I'm here to win. I'm like Nigel McGuinness, bitch. I'm here to fucking win. And all that, but this was a great squash match because it put Kenny Omega over. Chris Jericho did an amazing job. But this is the first squash match that I wanted to see more of Alan Angels. I'm like, man, I wonder what he can do. If he can do that against Kenny Omega, I wonder if he could make it in AEW. Where other guys, I'm like, oh, this guy ain't fucking making it,
Well, I got Sarah J a job.
Yeah, so I've thrown...
And by the way, I read somewhere that Sarah J, that was like when she showed up in AEW a week or two ago. That was only her like her 7th match.
Yeah, it showed.
Wow.
All right. Next is the Scorpio Sky video package.
Okay, let me just say this. As somebody who works in the news industry, and I'm used to seeing people tell stories and put stuff together. I work with some of the best storytellers, and that's fucking shoot. I work with some of the best storytellers in this industry that I work in.
Thank you. No need to thank me. I'm just a hero doing a hero's thing. Go on, sir.
Yeah. So I've seen, people, it really you really think it sounds like something maybe you could do. It's not like a big deal. You really have to put a lot of thought into it. You really have to know what questions to ask. You have to know what kind of reactions to get. And once you get that material, you got to know how to put it together. And they did a profile on Scorpio Sky that I absolutely just loved. I wish they would have been doing this from the get-go, but I'm glad they did it. They finally got around to doing this. I wish they would do this with everybody. They set Scorpio Sky down. They talked about his road to professional wrestling, how his mom was supportive of him, how he suffered a back injury, and then he thought, oh no, this could be bad. Doctor said, you could try to gut it out, you could try to get surgery, but either way, your wrestling career's over. And he said, well, I believe in miracles because one day I woke up and my back was better. Next day back was a little bit better, and then boom, I'm in the wrestling. Talked about, he got a lot of chances, but he never got signed. He just kept trying. And finally, they ended it with, part one with, well, and then in 2017, SCU was formed, and boom, we're going to start, now we talked about, who he is as a person, some of his life, some of the struggles that he went through, some adversity that he overcame, and we're going to pause that there, and then we're going to go next week, presumably, to talk about, when his career exploded with SoCal Uncensored. So I really love this, and AEW, if anybody's listening, and chances are you are because we're just that big of an influential podcast, um, do this for everybody. Do it for everybody. Sit everybody down. You don't have to air everybody, but have it in the can and just pick the best ones or whoever you want to feature. If somebody's going to get a push, come up, boom, you've got it in the can. Throw it that video package. Great job.
Yeah, I agree 150 million%. I was a fan of Scorpio Sky. This made me love him. You know what I mean? It was just fucking perfect. If you didn't feel for Scorpio Sky or fucking root for him more, this is how it should be done all the time. This is literally how it should be done all the time. And Boom Boom's 100% right. And AEW hit a home run with this. And I love it. And not only that, but with Tiger King, the Last Dance, people love documentaries right now. It's hot. But even on, it just makes it feel fucking real. It makes it like, wow, I fucking care about this person. I mean, I think we both were fans of Scorpio Sky, but this made you a different level. It was like, man, I'm really going to root for this guy now. And it's perfect. They need to do this more often. I absolutely loved it, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. And it's so simplistic. And here's why it works, because it humanizes everybody. It says, okay, I'm not just some guy in a pair of tights who goes out there, I want to win the championship. Well, who are you? Why did you get started? What drives you? Okay, if you're a dick, why are you a dick? There has to be a reason for it. Do they think they're a dick? Or if you're a good guy, well, what makes you so good? What makes you want to push so hard? Why do you want to jump in a car, travel hundreds of miles, days on end, and go get beat up, then get in the car, drive 100 more miles, and go get beat, and go get beat up again? Why? Why? What makes you want to get up? Why do you want to live this lifestyle? What are your goals? If it is okay, obviously it's the championship, but what else? Why are you trying to prove it? Why? Who? What? Why? When? Where? Those little bitty things, and it just makes everything. I just think it just makes it more real.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna do this one real quick, but I agree with you 110%. We can talk about how great that was over and over, and they better put that right up on YouTube if they haven't already. I'm just going to read real quick because I was just disappointed and I want to get your point on it. Cody listens to Dusty and Rhodes' voicemail and how he'll retire if he doesn't beat Kip Saban. Everything that I think was great about Scorpio Sky in this show comes crashing down. This is by far the worst segment. Maybe I'm not. It's just, it makes Kip Saban look like a fucking asshole. It makes Dustin, like, it's one of those things you're like, wow, you came off great fucking writing and crashed down to this. Like, why would he do this? Is he fucking that desperate to retire? I don't think it was a good story. Booms, I'm going to hot tag to you. Maybe you have a more positive outlook than on me on this. This one, sir.
Yeah, I'll be the positive Petey on this one. Not Pineapple Pete, but positive Pete on this one. I think the reason why they did this is to kind of add a little bit more drama to the match, going, this should be like a foregone conclusion. As soon as you see this match on paper, Dustin Rhodes, who's been in the business for what 30 years now, versus Kip Sabian. Yeah, he's an up-and-comer, but he's only been in the industry for, maybe 3, 4. And you think on paper, well, okay, we already know how this is going to end. Well, Dustin's going to try to make it interesting, going, if I can't beat this kid, I'm just going to retire, because then I know my career's over. And then after that, that Penelope Ford's going to come out there and she's going to, help Kip Sabian cheat. So when they start doing the match, and then she's running in there interference for him and cheating, now suddenly the stakes are raised. Dustin could, get cheated. He could get hit with a foreign object, referee could get distracted, get low blowed, and then not only would he lose the match, but his career would be over. And that adds a little bit more drama to it. So I think that's what they were going for. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't writing it.
Yeah. I just think it gave him the opposite results. Because, I was going to this match like, Dustin's probably going to win, but maybe there's an upset. He's like, my career's on the line. Okay, he won. At least if there's an upset, you're like, okay, he gets upsetted, and then, you know what I mean? But as soon as he's my career's on the line. What's that?
Yeah, I mean it happens all the time. I'm talking about going in favors of upsets. I mean the one that's the most infamous for upsets is the NCAA tournament, which we didn't have this year, but March Madness,
That's so
because
sad.
we've had that before. I mean, hell, a couple of years ago, because I live out here in Virginia, so this is the reason why I remember this so well. Is Virginia was the number one seed in their division. They go up against University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC, number 16 seed, and they got upset in the first round. I mean, they had some people picking them to go all the way, and they lost in the first round to the number 16 seed. So it happens in sports. It happens in real life.
And
So,
can I just
mhm,
add something real quick, sir? It happens in AEW. The Young
mhm.
Bucks didn't win the tag team title tournament. They were upset by Private Party. So you even got a history in your show of doing it. So yeah, go ahead, Booms.
No, I wrapped up everything I was going to say with that. By the way, they did a recap of being the Elite 200,
Yeah, I enjoyed that
and if you
episode.
yeah, if you haven't seen Being the Elite, I would recommend checking it out. Now, they took episode 199 and they split it up into three parts to build it up to episode 200, and I think 200 delivered. Now, if you're not a fan of the Young Bucks, you're probably not going to like it, not going to lie. But if you do, like, if you're like, okay, yeah, I like the Young Bucks, or you really love the Young Bucks, you'll love episode 200. And I think the big question is going to be, will Being the Elite continue? Now, I think Dave Meltzer reported, yeah, it's going to continue, but we don't know for how much longer. And if they have to end it, I mean, I understand why. And it was a hell of a ride. I mean, the whole show started out 4 years ago. It's just Matt and Nick doing like a travel vlog. And then it kind of turned into like a little sketch show. And then they started using it to promote their own storylines. Hill was very instrumental in promoting All In and building up storylines. It was good for what it was. And now these guys are executives. These guys, now, not only are they wrestling, but they're also running this company. I may not have time to, have as much time to dedicate to all this. So, and you know what? Maybe you need Coco. Should the Bucks pull like a Seinfeld, and that is, go out on top.
Um, I think it's really up to them personally.
Hmm.
Like I enjoy being the elite. I'm always a couple weeks behind, but you could say that about anything in pro wrestling. But I think it's up to the brothers. If they want to keep it going, keep it going. Maybe it changes. Maybe it comes to more like a Gary V thing. Like, hey, this is what we're doing behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Not as much skits. Um, I know this sounds weird because like when you're creating content of any kind, I think it's up to the artist. If the artist still wants to do it, do it. Maybe they'll change it up. It's up to them. But yeah, they can go on top. I mean, to this day, how they premiered the AEW on their YouTube channel is the best. Like, you go back and watch the episode where Kenny Omega leaves his phone at near the Tokyo Dome.
Hmm.
That is fucking great television. That's not even just great YouTube. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about actually making an award show just for the best YouTube video of the year so I can give it to them. That was a really good episode and it got so many people over. It sold so much merch. If it wasn't for it, it was for the company. Um, yeah, I don't know. I know it's such a bullshit answer, but I honestly think deep down inside, it's up to them. If they're like, hey, this is how we go out, and it's not a bad way to go out. They just close the laptop and it's over. Episode 200. I don't know, but my whole thing is I also kind of wonder too because like they have nothing to do. They're in lockdown. Maybe right now is not the best time to close. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's up to them, man. Um, whatever they do, I enjoyed the ride. I really did. And thank you, Young Bucks and AEW. So, or what was AEW before being elite. So, I know it's kind of a bullshit answer, but it's how I really feel. What's your thoughts on it? You think they should end it?
Again, it's up to them. I mean, but just the writing's on the wall. I mean, it's just kind of. I think that was just kind of like, well, if we're going to go out, we need to give the fans something really. But we just can't end our show, that people have been following for 4 years we need to give them, some kind of high note to go out on, and maybe they'll leave the door open to bring it back. But if they don't have time to dedicate to it, and they're not going to be happy with it, yeah, I'm all for just putting it on the shelf.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and they can always bring it back. I mean, YouTube channels that stop and come back later are always successful, right? Oh my God, what happened to our numbers? I left you in charge of this, you and LK. What happened? What happened? What happened? We should have went out on top. We should have been like, I'm getting divorced. This is the divorce episode. See you later.
Yeah. Here's what happened. Wow, I'm sad.
That's me. That's the.
That's what happened.
All right, we'll rebuild it. We'll be bigger and better than ever. Yeah, you better keep that show going, man. It's hard as fuck to rebuild a YouTube channel. All right, Booms, let's talk next match before I die. Booms, if I die, you got to bring KocoSports back to its glory of 7,000 subscribers.
Will do.
All right, let's continue breaking it down, buddy.
Next, we had Orange Cassidy versus Jimmy Havoc. This came about, last week when Jimmy Havoc had finally had enough of Orange Cassidy during when he was seconding the Best Friends. So he took him to the outside and gave him like this impaler DDT on the floor. So they signed the match for this week. This was a pretty decent match here. You had Havoc just bringing the thunder, and Orange Cassidy just taking everything. I particularly like where he chopped Cassidy. He delivered more chops than I poked him. Went back. He started grinding. I like that Jimmy Havoc. They're making it, instead of doing the hardcore style, they're making him wrestle more of a submission style in AEW, which I really really like. If he does the hardcore stuff, I mean, have him bring it out every now and then, but for the most part, like during regular TV, submission style, love it. Cassidy did fire. We got a lot more out of Cassidy than what I thought, because I thought, okay, he was just kind of either going to accidentally stumble into some offense or just kind of shrug off just take a lot of damage there on defense. But no, he hit with a tornado DDT. I like that Havoc started mocking Cassidy, put his hands in his pocket, Havoc put Cassidy's hands in his own pocket, started, just chopping the shit out of him. Penelope Ford tried to go for a distraction, and Chuck Taylor tried to go in and help, and Kip Sabian arrived, and so that's building. I guess they're building up some kind of feud here between the Best Friends, Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian. But eventually, I thought Orange Cassidy was going for something like a abdominal stretch, but then he rolled him forward and got got a good pin on him there. Then Havoc laid out Orange Cassidy. The Best Friends ran him off. It's looking like this is going to be like a tag match coming up here, but I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed me some Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know I put it on mute because there's like background noise, and then like I started talking like, I got it, boom boom. I was like, oh shit, it's still on mute. We're professionals around here. We're professionals. Overall, I enjoyed this match. I just, that's it. I guess it was just enjoyable. Nothing bad. It just does seem like it's booking on the fly, fast booking, but at the same time, you understand why. And Orange Cassidy is something special and different, and a lot of people love him. Not everyone, but a lot of people do. Hot tag to you, Booms.
Hot tag to me. Let's see. A little bit of the Psycho interview backstage between the Best Friends, and I think it was Dasha Gonzalez was saying, Chuck Taylor channeling, I don't know, some like early 80s WWF, you're going to die, baby, yeah, and they're just all getting fired up, so we got this match coming up, but anyway, we get a health update on MJF. He talked about, he'd been feeling depressed. Yeah, he'd put out a tweet saying that he wasn't all whole and everything, was going to make a big announcement. And some people was like, oh no, he may be injured. He may be seriously injured. He may have to go get surgery. Now, anybody else, I would have been a little concerned, but I'm like, MJF is really not one to just, spill his guts, break kayfabe and spill his guts out there on social media. I was like, I smell a rat. Something's not. I'm going to see what it is first. But then he makes the announcement that he has suffered a hangnail, and he injured it while throwing some cash, and he had to gut his way through the end of the show. It became life threatening, but he's gonna come back and he's gonna win the world title. So I love that video by MJF and everybody else who got fooled by it. You did it to yourselves. You did it to yourselves.
I love it by a billion. Because he did it heel, and I think it's more the internet took the story and ran with it. I do. Here's the thing. I don't enjoy fake injury storylines, but this one's done perfectly. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it a lot, and MJF is just amazing. All right, next match.
All right, next here we had Wardlow versus Lee Johnson squash match. Wardlow just chewed this kid up and spit him out, beat him with it was like a F5, but he just threw the kid. I believe that's called like an F10 or something, but he just tossed that kid around like a rag doll. So big squash match for Wardlow.
Yeah, that was amazing. And not only that, but damn, I feel like it was the Simpsons meme. He's dead already. Stop beating him. It was insane. All right, next.
Next, we got a little vignette. We got it was a promo for the Dark Order. This guy just starts as a mystery man. He started typing that he got like a Dear John voice message. Then he saw like the website Join the Dark Order. He talked about he's 6'2", 240 pounds, or anyway that it's like I had the whole world, but everything slipped through my fingers. He met with Brody Lee. Turns out that this guy says he's 6'2", 240 pounds. He played college football. He's a former Heisman Trophy candidate, and he's upset because other people had success handed to him, but Brody he isn't afraid of success, and he wants to basically bring this man to the Dark Order. He wants to give him a mask as well as a home. The guy accepts. So this guy, I believe it's Preston. Hang on, I'll tell you what it is in just a second. It's Preston something.
Why are you looking that up? The whole time.
He's going to be known as number 10.
The whole time that was going on, I was like, please be Gronk. Please be Gronk. Please be Gronk. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't find it's Preston something. He was an independent wrestler. He was not a football player, actually. He played a couple other sports, but football was not one of them. So, I kind of like the idea of, let me ask you this. Is the Dark Order, getting too big? I mean, I know the whole idea is it's a cult, and they're actually going to try to make the creepers mean something instead of having just main people in masks. Because you've got Silvers and God, what's the other guy's name? The other half of the Beaver Boys. Shit, I'm blanking right now. You got Alex Reynolds. Thank you. Reynolds and Silver. You got Stu Grayson, Evil Uno. Now you got Brody Lee. Now you got number 10. Now 8 and 9. I don't know if they're actually going to be continuous characters. I know they were just squash victims. But is that? I just don't. I mean, I like what they're doing here, but is that what they're doing? They're gradually trying to make every creeper mean something, because they're going to have actually be somebody on the mask rather than just people that they're there one week. They do like the throne thing for Uno, and then they leave. Where are they going with this, Koco? I'm having a hard time understanding. Tag to you.
I think, first off, Brody Lee is the centerpiece by far.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, I think they can't make every character mean something. If they make every character mean something, it would be like the foot soldiers mean everything. I think you should have like 3 or 4. Let's break it down this way. Brody Lee should be Shredder, okay? Then you should have Rocksteady and Bebop, and maybe a Baxter, and the rest should just be numbers and worthless dudes. They're just foot soldiers. You know what I mean? And when the Ninja Turtles come, they just beat the hell out of the foot soldiers and then have a harder time getting up to Super Shredder. That's what it should be. But Booms, I have a serious question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people around here are afraid of success. Do you understand that?
Yeah, there are.
It was a quote from Brody Lee. Um,
You are.
I'm afraid of success? Maybe. I don't know. I think I've. Okay, they're getting fucking
I'm
deep
just kidding,
quick.
dude. I'm serious. No, dude, I was kidding. I was
They're gonna get
kidding.
deep.
I
I
was
think
not
I'd
being
just rather
serious.
do whatever I want to do. I think that's success for me. I'm like, cool. I can talk wrestling with Boom Boom. That's success. All right, so brutally versed our favorite Justin Law.
All right.
Do you just want to skip it?
I mean, it was a squash match. He killed him in like 2 minutes, and that's that kid that
We
he
body
looks like he's
shamed. Poor
15.
bastard.
He looks like he's 15, and me and Coco were like, should we go back to the gym? We need to really get back. You know what? I think we got some time. I think we're good. I think we're good for a few more weeks here. Um, and plus, but the big thing, the only thing that we can really take away from this, other than he killed Justin Law, is that now it looks like Brody Lee's turning his eyes towards Marco Stunt. Because remember, he kept looking at him, eyeballing him, and Marco Stunt not wanting back down. Um, I mean, they could be teasing something there with Marco.
Oh, poor Marco. Poor Marco.
Still can't win.
Yeah. All right, let's rock a couple more segments and keep going, brother.
All right. Next, we had the Bubbly Bunch. They were back, and Jericho was giving everybody a pep talk. Then everybody was, Sammy was sad, Ortiz was sad. You know, I love it. Hager told Guevara that he was too beautiful to be upset, and then Jericho says, we need to do a happy dance, and we're gonna do the flim flam. We're gonna do a flim flam dance, and the winner gets a little bottle of hand sanitizer. And then Guevara fired back, hand sanitizer? Well, that's all you had to say. I'm in. And they just did like this mock TikTok videos of them doing just dancing, just crazy dances. And then eventually, Sammy Guevara just started going crazy with it. Jericho got mad because he lost. It's like, enjoy your hand sanitizer, Sammy. And by the way, interesting side note that Chris Jericho just copyrighted the phrase "flim flam dance."
Are you for real? That's amazing.
I am for real. It's being reported that he filed a copyright claim for
Oh
flim
my
flam.
god, dude. I love Chris Jericho more and more every single day of my life. Um, yeah, the Bubbly Bunch and Chris Jericho, home run after home run. Absolutely enjoyed it. All right, let's talk main event. Boom boom.
Main event: Dustin Rhodes versus Kip Sabian. If Dustin Rhodes loses, he will retire. He'll end his career right then and there. It started out like you think it would right now with Dustin taking early control, then Kip Sabian slowly trying to make a little bit of a comeback, staying out of trouble. Um, Penelope Ford, comes in and interferes. That brings out Brandy Rhodes, and this is where, for me, where it just kind of like fell apart when you had the valets kind of getting in there because the ending was just like it was. Um, Kip Sabian, he went
The
to
word
back
you're
to the
looking for is
springboard.
clusterfuck.
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck. It was just way overbooked, at least for my taste. Anyway, Kip Sabian hit like the springboard DDT, got a 2 count. He's sitting there talking smack, which I like. The referee pulls him off, and now he's in the corner, and the referee is bitching him out. And now at this point, this is where Penelope Ford tries to come in, and then Brandy, comes in to, follow up here while the referee's trying. Remember, this isn't like, the bad guy's doing something the referee's admonishing him, and then he's sitting there arguing, so that keeps the referee distracted. No, in this one, Aubrey Edwards, I just didn't like this because, she's sitting there, she should have, when you think logically, okay, once you say that you got to stay, you got remember this is a live match. You got to turn back around. You got to keep going here. But at least, if he would have gotten physical with her or started arguing with her, then there's a reason to continue this conversation. Instead, it's Aubrey Edwards just bitching out Kip Sabian for like 3 minutes straight, completely keeping her back turned to this. And then you had what I thought was, Penelope Ford should have been completely focusing in on Dustin Rhodes, but instead she kind of like turned her completely just like, okay, now she's going to turn her attention to Brandy, who's not even involved in the match, who has nothing to do with anything. Brandy winds up, they winded up redirecting instead because I thought the focus should have been, it makes sense because, if you're the bad guy and you want to get your guy the win, you focus on the good guy. You try to beat him, soften him up so the guy can go in, your guy can go in there and hit him, finish him off. Makes sense, but instead, no. Penelope Ford completely redirected, refocused onto Brandy. Brandy wound up spearing her. Dustin then, just grabs a hold of Kip Sabian, hits him with like a destroyer, and then he pins Kip Sabian. This was just, it turned into a clusterfuck at the end. It started out okay. Um, you know, I think the way if I had to show Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford anything, I would show them right now Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega, because if that's the kind of thing they're going to do, I think that's the kind of way they need to do it, because you need to do it to where Kip Sabian goes in there, wrestles the matches, and then when the referee's back is turned, she comes in there and plays like an X Factor. Just, I mean, not enough to like it's old school, but clocking with like a foreign object, or go in there and start choking, raking the eyes, doing a hurricanrana off the top, or flying body press, just doing something, to kind of like, just kind of like take a cheap shot on the good guy. And it's like, well, if he loses, it's because that damn woman went in there, behind his back, behind the referee's back, and did all that and softened him up for the bad guy to finish him off. But it just was just a clusterfuck. I mean, it was an okay match, but I just could have done without the circus finish there.
Yeah. I love Dustin Rhodes. He's a former ACW champ. I booked him to be champ, but I thought the storyline was bad. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I've been dying all day. I thought the storyline was bad. I thought the start of the match was awesome. It
Mm-hmm.
it looked like, Dustin had some life in him. He just found a fountain of youth. Kip Sabian, which I'm not completely sold on, was doing a great job. And then it was a clusterfuck. Like, if we can go back, let's rewind, and just had it where Kip Sabian, because he's a heel, right? I'm pretty sure he's a fucking heel. I don't know. I fucking literally don't give a shit about Kip Sabian at this point in my life. But let's just pretend Kip Sabian's a heel. Booms, help me out. Is he a heel?
Kip Sabian, yes.
Okay. Then fuck, this is easy. This is fucking easy. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's rebook. Bam. Kip Sabian comes out and goes, "You old fucking man, you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't fucking be here." And Dustin's like, "How can you say that?" Blah, 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 blah. Bam. Set up the match. Second off, you have a fucking great match where fucking Dustin just beats the fucking living hell out of him for the first 5-10 fucking minutes. Then he cheats and he starts fucking laying the boots. And then they do the fucking Hulk up, whatever. Fucking, we'll call it the gold dust up. And then fucking the girls gets distracting the referee. Then comes by, fucking Cody's wife, fucking stops him, and then pow, bing, bam, fucking Dustin hits the fucking move. It's like, what? The retirement angle didn't make sense. The beginning of the match was awesome. And the clusterfuck, it was just like, there's way too much going on. Just way too much. And all that, but clusterfuck finishes don't work if there's no crowd reaction. Like, didn't it feel weird when she climbed to the top and there was no crowd reaction? Like, I think that was the first time in the show I noticed, oh, there's no crowd here. So, I don't know. I feel like this is Batman with Bane. It had some amazing parts and it had some horrible parts. But if they just worked on it a little bit, it would have been amazing. I love Dustin. I love this fucking match, but the stuff went wrong. Can you love something and be like, it's pretty horrible? Or, no, I don't even say it was horrible. It's like, what were you thinking?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was one of those. It wasn't god awful. I mean, it just could have been done better.
Yeah. So hopefully in the future they can just fix that. Overall,
It'd be, to me, it would be something like in like Little League, practice, and it's like you see, the player you've been coaching all week, and then all of a sudden they kind of fall back into like a bad habit, and you're like, come on, man, we worked on this in practice.
It's like,
kind of like the same. kind of like the same thing with Kip Sabian and all before. Like, come on, y'all, we worked on this in practice.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, but it's not live. So they were happy with it. You know what I mean? I think if it was live, you'd be like, oh, fuck, it was live.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it was live and it wasn't live and they went with it, that means someone had to be happy with this final product. And the thing is, I don't think it was bad. It was just, there was enough off about it to be like, dude, bro, for real? You know what it reminds me of to the sports? It's your team supposed to win by 49, but they win by a field goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, well, we won by a field goal. Boom, boom. That you just made it sound like that's happened way too much in your life.
Yes, it has.
You're just like, I know the pain of a team that's supposed to dominate and only win by 3. But that's what it feels like. Still love Dustin with all my heart. And overall, I'm giving it a win. I just think, yeah, mistakes were made in that main event. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Booms. Can you plug a bunch of stuff, man? I want to apologize. We having technical difficulties, and I wasn't 100% this show. I think I'm just gonna maybe hit the rack. I've been like making content all day, but I've just like had a hard time fucking like breathing. I've got hiccups and shit. So hopefully it's nothing serious. It's just I feel like I'm off my game. You know?
Okay, Coco, hold your breath until I'm done plugging things.
Okay.
So first of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You can find more of our content on KocoSports.com. That's KocoSports.com. It's your home for combat sports, where the world goes to kick ass, and most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. You can also visit our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter page. Dave Koco is streaming on Twitch. Okay, take 2. Let's pretend I can talk this.
I couldn't do it. Boom, boom. I'm sorry. Go on.
Dave Koco. I meant to say Dave Koco is streaming on Twitch. I tried to combine 2 words there. Look him up, KocoSports. He's usually doing either a lot of NHL. He's either doing Fire Pro Wrestling or some Madden. He goes for several hours on end. Dave, you can also place your order right now. We're taking pre-orders for Koco's new novel. It's called Lucky the Orphan. It's loosely based on Koco's real-life story. It's about an orphan, hence the title, growing up in a New Jersey orphanage back in the 1980s, trying to win the respect of his peers by scoring a sweet, sweet Nintendo Entertainment System. Should be a good read for the whole family. It's actually made for young viewers, so if you're a little turned off by Operation Freak Show, which is very much adult content, this is a little bit more actually a lot more lighthearted. It's meant for young readers, so that's something you'll probably enjoy a little bit more. And thank you for supporting us. And I don't think there's any place to send us money. Not that we want it, but Anyway, thanks a lot. And Koco, back to you.
Much love, brother. Sorry I was dying a little bit on this stage. We did it, Boom Boom. You had technical difficulties. I had lung problems. You know what? We just fucking had a Dustin Rhodes AEW finished. We have a clusterfuck finish. Hey, high five, buddy. Love you with all my heart. With that, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm so fucking greedy, Boom Boom. I've been doing this by myself for so long. We are over. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Hey, boom, boom, boom.